Okay, it's time for June's stamp class. And I have Dale with me here in the craft room. He is waving. It's okay to say hi.
Hi.
We are here with you today for stamp class. And this is a pre-recorded video because we are able to do our in-person classes again. So while you are watching this, if you watch it at 9 o'clock, then we will be doing stamp class at that time. So let me just look really quick to make sure that the video is lined up good. And while we're doing that, okay, thank you, Dee. While we're doing that, we have quite a few supplies that we're going to need this month. But a lot of it's basic supplies that you already have. And I did post a list, so if you need to hop out of the video and go take a look at the list that I posted a couple days ago, you can. And it will show you the different things that you need to be able to complete the projects. And I think I didn't even grab everything that we need. Maybe even some glue. Okay, so you're definitely going to need your trimmer or your scoreboard, something to score with for the very last project. So either tool that you can score with. And then the ink that we're using today is Early Espresso. That's the only color that we're stamping with. Any dark brown will work. So if you don't have Early Espresso, no worries. And then you take your pick tool. This is just nice to have as far as adding embellishments. And so if you have one, great. If not, you can use the tip of your snips to do that. You definitely want a pair of snips. You do want your bone folder. And also a stapler. Now, this is a Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. So mine is going to be like a mini staple, but you can use a regular size staple as well. And then I've got some adhesives here. So just kind of a variety of adhesives. But you definitely have to have some tear and tape, some double-sided tape, or Stampin' Seal Plus, something strong, because we are making a 3D project and you always want to make sure that that is held together well. Don't want it falling apart, right, Dean?
Oh no.
Now you will also find that about 8 o'clock in the morning we have a post that will go up that has the basic measurements for the projects. Now we have already scored everything for you, but just in case you want to recreate the projects, then you'll be able to use this measurement sheet. And we're actually going to use it while we do the class just to help so I don't have to remember everything. Now supplies that we're using this month are He's the Man suite of products. And it is an awesome masculine stamp set, dies, paper, and embellishments. And of course, as usual, you can purchase the entire suite collection, which is one of everything in the suite. Or if you want to just get the stamps and dies, when you buy both and you bundle that, you save 10%. Or you can just buy the individual components as you want to. This is a super versatile. Do you see somewhere I had some of those embellishments too? There they are. I don't think this is a full package, but these are super cute little rustic metallic dots. So the stamp set is real versatile, lots of masculine images, and just a really good one to have in your collection. And then the coordinating dies. This time we do have everything cut out from this die set. Again, super versatile because you can use these label pieces for sentiments for lots of different stamp sets. And then these are the embellishments we'll be using. So if you received a kit and you registered for the class, you have your make and take packet, you're going to find that in the back of the packet we have put a couple of supplies in a clear envelope along with a strip of the embellishment, so you can give those a try, and then also your ribbon. Now this is the He's the Man Designer Series paper, and it is awesome. Lots of different designs, super versatile masculine paper because it covers anything from just general masculine to camping and barbecuing. Trying to think. I think that's one more page. There we go. So really cool paper. There should be, there it is. There's the camping. That's what I flipped past too fast, I think. Okay, let me move these items out of the way. And I'll share a few samples with you before we get started. So here is one that Dell and I designed for a swap that we participate in with other demonstrators. Just very simple layout. But I think that that's key to making masculine projects, is just trying to keep it a little bit simpler. Here's a cute one that features the barbecue or grilling. Now this is actually a die cut. In this paper, it's really cool because you get 2 sheets of laser cut, little die cut pieces. You just punch them out and they coordinate, of course, perfectly with the paper. So again, I didn't do any stamping on this card. Just used some of those pieces that I popped out that were already pre-cut for me. And on this one, I did use the Designer Series paper to be my card base, to do something a little different. And this one as well. We did this on a Facebook Live. I had that upside down. Dad upside down almost works, doesn't it?
Sure it does.
So this again is a die cut that's already ready for you just to punch out. Use that Designer Series paper as my card base. And here's a cute one featuring the barbecue paper. Actually, a couple of different papers. And then another great layout there. Very simple, classic. This is probably one of the first layouts I learned, was to use 2 different papers like that, feature those with ribbon and then a sentiment. So back to the basics, but a really cute one. And here is the card that we made at the launch party. So those that were able to attend that virtually or in person have already seen a little sneak peek of these products. Get these out of the way. And we'll get started with project number 1. Okay, as usual, when we send out the packets, everything is in your envelope, so just be careful as you take things out. Make sure that you get everything out of your envelope and make sure that you don't drop anything like I nearly did. So let me set these items aside and we'll take a look at this project. So this is a great one to use up Designer Series paper, and Dale will tell me in just a minute the measurements. Now, we've got just a cardstock base, and then we add the Designer Series paper to it. I went ahead and wrapped my ribbon around and kind of closed this up. It kind of forms a pocket. I did adhere my inside panel down, but you don't have to. You could just put that in kind of as a pocket if you wanted to. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with this one. Do you have the measurements there, Dale?
Yeah, your card base is 5.5 by 4 1/4.
Okay, so this is our card base. So you'll notice that this is a different paper than my sample. And so some of you have received the paper with the cars, some with the barbecue type paper, and then some with the camping paper. So whether you're doing the class with us in person or virtually, I kind of mixed it up. So we'll have a share thread posted in just a little bit, and you can definitely post your spin on the projects if you want to, because I know not everyone has this stamp set. You'll be substituting stamp sets, so that will just add a little bit of variety, and then we can see who got what paper too. That was kind of randomly done. Okay, sorry, Dale.
That's all right. The inside panel is the 5 by 3 3/4.
5 by 3 3/4, so a little bit smaller piece. And this is Sahara Sand cardstock. Okay.
And then your Designer Series paper is 11 by 4.
Okay.
And it is scored at 2 1/4, 7.5, and 10.
Okay, so I guess from this end. So 2 1/4, 7 1/2, and 10. Now this piece of paper does not matter because it's not directional. When you're doing the camping paper, it is directional. So in order for this folded back piece to be the right side up, then you do need to pay attention with your scoring. And trust me on that, because I messed up some paper preparing supplies. So just really stop and think about what you're doing if you're recreating. But when you have paper that's not directional, then it's not any problem whatsoever. So I think this time I'm going to just slide this piece, this insert in. So what I'll do is go ahead and get my bone folder, and I will burnish these score lines. So we're just basically using the Designer Series paper as the main portion of this card and applying it to a card base, a cardstock base. Well, do I really want to do it that way, or what do we decide? You could really do it both ways, couldn't you? I can stop and think there. Yeah, you could do it either way. I think I am going to do it with the, what do you call it, barbecuing or grilling?
Well, I call it grilling.
Grilling?
What I do.
Oh, okay.
What Shane does is barbecue.
Okay, what's the difference?
Well, barbecue is normally slow cooked over time
Okay.
for 4 to 12 hours, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
And then grilling is,
Like when you just do hamburgers, hot dogs, that type thing?
yeah, where you just throw it on the fire and you let the fire do the work.
Okay.
And it normally takes just a few minutes depending on what protein you're cooking.
Okay, that makes sense. So I'm just taking this piece of ribbon and wrapping around the bottom so you can just see how this folds up very simply the way that we've got it scored for you. And remember this ribbon, this early espresso ribbon from, gosh, this is from the annual catalog a couple years ago. And they have been so good to carry it over into this catalog. I think because they know I love it so much, and y'all do too. So I'm just going to work on getting this ribbon. I may have tied it a little bit too tight, didn't I?
Yeah.
No? Think it's gonna work?
Yeah, it's gonna work.
So remember, with Stampin' Up, all of our products coordinate. So one of the colors in this paper is our early espresso. So we are able to use the early espresso ribbon and know that it's going to coordinate really well. I moved my trash can out of the way. So this time I'm going to use this more like a pocket. So you could even do this put a gift card inside as well if you wanted to. This other one I glued it down, but you don't have to. So just folding that back gives that little bit of coordination. And now we're just going to add it to the card base. I think I did on my sample, I did use just a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus there to help hold that down, keep it in place. Just whatever adhesive you want to use. I think this is my glue that's not working. Let's try a different bottle of glue. I'm better about closing them and not getting them stopped up like I did in the past. I'll just add our glue. I'm going to put just a little bit more than I usually do, because this is kind of interactive the way you pull up on it. So again, this cardstock base, I think Dale told us, was 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, so just a quarter sheet of cardstock. And that really gives this card a little bit more substance than just using the Designer Series paper. So that folds up, and then that can be pulled out. And then I had already done some stamping. So you'll see on this one, we use this circle here. This time we're going to use this circle almost like a medallion, but I did stamp on the oval, and this coordinates more with that grilling paper, not barbecue paper, right? Maybe I'll pop that up Yes, maybe so.
But
Is it used interchangeably?
a lot of people do.
Yeah. I don't know what to call it, but I like it. I know that. Either way. So we'll just pop that on that little medallion because that seemed to be just a little bit too small. Oh, got it upside down. And then we can add that. I may pop that up too. Think so. Why not? Just add a couple of dimensionals, top and bottom. So today is a good day to be crafting. Because, man, do we have a heat wave here in the south right now. It's not going to be a fun summer. I think we've had a bit of a reprieve for several years, and here it comes, y'all.
Triple digits are always nice,
Uh,
right?
No. I've enjoyed the reprieve we got the last couple years. Okay, that is our first project. So again, I'll bring in this sample that I had, which is geared more for the camping. And then we have our grilling card. So either one's super cute. Oh, there went the cap to my glue. Either one is super cute. Just kind of depends on the guys in your life, what they like to do. But you could really do this with any designer series paper. And I really do kind of like not adhering that down so that I've got a pocket. And I could either attach the gift card there at the bottom and pop it in, or just put that in the pocket as well. Okay, let's work on our next project. We've got 3 fun folds today, which I love doing fun folds. I think I have an extra of that, so I'm going to give you that deal. Again, get all your pieces out of your envelope. And don't forget, Stampin' Up! Envelopes are awesome, great quality. I'm going to get all my pieces adjusted out here. So this card is called a matchbook, and it is a great card for masculine as well. So that just flips up, and you've still got plenty of room to write. Again, you could pop a gift card in there if you wanted to, or even a little bit of money would work. So it just looks like a little matchbook. Dale, do you mind giving us measurements for this one, please? And I'll kind of hold out the pieces while we're doing that.
The card base is 11 by 4 1/4.
Okay.
Scored at 1 1/4, 6 1/2, and then 6 3/4.
Okay, to actually form the matchbook. So I'm going to go ahead right quick and burnish those score lines on my bone folder, and then I'll have you, because I don't want to forget to put the inside panel before I staple. I almost made that mistake on my sample. I know.
No.
Yeah, I did. Okay. So you've got just that small 1/4 inch little piece at the top that forms the matchbook. Okay, and then we've got a piece of cardstock.
The inside panel is 5 by 4.
Okay, so just a little bit shorter than usual for an inside panel. So let me go ahead and put that inside. And get that situated. And really, you could probably use an even shorter piece than this, because we're going to staple that. Let me try to get it lined up better. May kind of justify it to the bottom. Have a little bit more of a border at the top. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so you could even get by with cutting that a little bit shorter if you wanted to. Now what I do with this, and you could do it either way, because you want to tell us about our designer series paper measurements, Bill?
Your designer series paper is 4x4
Okay.
and 4x1.
Okay. So this little piece is going to go on the front here. What I like to do is go ahead and staple before I add that on there. But you could do it either way. So I'm just going to use my tiny attacher. And you don't want to come all the way up to the top of this piece, kind of in the middle, or maybe 2/3 of the way, and just center it from side to side. I think that's going to be pretty good, because you do want room that this can tuck underneath. So if you go too high, it's not going to want to tuck. So that's how you make that matchbook. So from here, it's super simple. We're just putting on designer series paper. So first we'll add this little piece that's 4 by 1 inch. Uh-oh, did I grab the wrong one?
No,
It's not wanting to go. Well, have I stopped up another one? Yep, I did. Okay, this one's going. I have, what, 4 bottles of glue up there?
Yep.
This is how I roll. They're not going to judge me. I'm going to turn this upside down so I can get this situated a little bit easier. I want just an equal border all the way around. That look pretty good? Yeah?
Good.
Okay. Let that dry for a second. So you do have the staple on the back. I feel like that's okay. Now you could certainly staple it now if you wanted to. And then your piece of designer series paper, this is really kind of a non-directional piece as well, but 4 by 4, so that makes that simple.
Most of the ties are going
Oh, other way? Other way.
the other way.
Yeah, I mean, it really, I don't think it matters a lot. And somehow, yeah, that is right. I was thinking that piece was too big, but I think it's fine.
It's the 4x4 piece, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're just gonna add this on the front. I think that looks pretty good, so we'll let that dry right quick before we tuck it. And I can do a little bit of stamping. That's probably why, because here I am going to not close my glue. So let me close my glue, and I'm going to put my stamp. There it is. And we'll grab our Early Espresso ink. Now again, you can use whatever ink you have. And this stamp is a really cute one. It says, "Hello, handsome." Just ink it up. This is a red rubber set, which is one of my favorites. Try to get that lined up good. How'd we do? Okay. Got a little halo. Well, I just pressed a little bit too hard, didn't I? I may be able to, I may have you try to sand that.
Okay.
It may be in here, Bill.
There's one over
You
here.
got one? So there's a little eraser, a little ink eraser. Sometimes it works really well. If not, I'll just work with it and maybe put a little embellishment there. Maybe just a piece of ribbon or something. Just pressed a little bit too hard. It happens. So while Bill is working on that, I think what I'll do is come over here and embellish this card, because it looks like I forgot to do that. So I just got a strip of those embellishments. I'm gonna find my take your pick tool over here. And these rustic embellishments are really fun. Let's see, let's use a couple of the smaller ones on here. I can't believe I forgot to add my embellishments on my sample. Can you? It's not like me.
No?
I think I'll put this one over here. Oops. Yeah, I like that. Did that work? Oh, it helped. It helped. That is totally crooked, isn't it?
No,
It's okay?
No, you got place for you got some space
I've
for a
got some
couple
space for embellishments. Way to put a good spin on that, Dale. I'm going to go ahead and put the embellishments on first this time. You're such an encourager. Maybe just one. What do you think? Now here, we're going to add this sentiment, but I'm going to do that trick where I put my dimensionals on the card base because I don't want to get too far over. I don't want to get too far over and like glue the card shut. So this way, when I add this, versus putting them on the back of the sentiment piece. So I like to do that where I just put those embellishments there, and then I'm able to pop my sentiment on. And not worry about getting those dimensionals too far up. I don't know about that one. It's a little bit wonky, isn't it? It's okay though. Okay, so that is our second project, which is our masculine matchbook card. Okay, we're ready for number 3. And I am super excited about this project, y'all. This project I saw on one of my friends' Facebook pages, and she's under Donna Stamps, and she had this super cute idea to make a wallet card. You are gonna love this. So it looks just like a plain ordinary card with just a piece of designer series paper on it, but look at that. Isn't it awesome?
Yes.
It's amazing. So you've got this little decorated billfold wallet that you can put a gift card in. It actually, the way that we did this, we changed the design just a little bit. We've got a couple of pockets here with a piece of cardstock, and then over here we've got an insert, and I did some stamping there, but you don't even really have to do any stamping if you don't want to. So that little insert slides in there, and I think this is so cute. It really does look like a wallet. So let me show you how to make this little wallet card. Now again, I'll have Dale share the measurements with us. And I just want to make sure that I don't lose my little embellishment. I'm going to put it up here, I think. Okay, so there's lots of pieces to this, but this is a really easy card to make. And it's a wow, isn't it?
Yes.
So we are starting out with
a card base that is made about 10 by 4.
Okay.
And scored at 5 inches.
Okay, so this is early espresso cardstock, 10 inches by 4 inches, and scored at 5 inches. So let me, as we go through this, I'll go ahead and burnish so we can put it together. Okay, next up
is 10 by 3 1/4.
Okay.
Scored at 5 inches.
Scored at 5 inches. Now with this, this goes inside this outside piece to create the wallet. Now what I did was put this piece, once I folded it, back in my trimmer, and I brought it into the cutting edge just to the point that it touched the white on the right side of the cutting blade, and cut just a tiny little fraction off. If you don't do that, because these are both 10 inches scored at 5, you have a little bit that peeks out. So I've already done that for you, but if you recreate this card, be sure that you trim that tiny bit off so that it fits inside, and when you close it, you don't have any that's sticking out. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, Dale, what's next?
Next is the card insert is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4.
Okay, so this is what I'm calling the card insert, is this piece that I stamped on right there, where I'm going to be able to write my message. Okay?
Okay, and then the next was the inside layer is 4 3/4 by 2 1/2.
And so this is the piece that fits over here. And it looks like, let me measure this right quick. I was thinking that's what I did, that I ended up using just a scrap there. So yours may be a little bit different than what my measurement is that I typed up. Yeah, this is 2 1/4. So in your kit, it's probably going to be a piece that's 2 1/4, but that's okay. That's not a problem. Okay?
And then your designer series paper is 4 3/4 by 3 1/4,
Okay.
and 4 3/4 by 2 3/4.
Okay, so this piece over here,
Right.
and then the piece on the front. Okay. And we chose not to put a piece on the back. I mean, this is pretty product heavy, and so we just went ahead and decorated the front. Now let me reach back in here, because I think I'm going to go ahead and add this little embellishment piece. So this is one of the die cuts from this set, and I thought it really lent itself well to being kind of the decoration on this wallet. Thought that looked really cute. And Dale did, I think I grabbed one of those glues that's not working again, didn't I? Dale did the die cutting for us, and he die cut this just from scraps of designer series paper. So that just adds a little bit more of a touch, I think. And you can just put that over on your piece of cardstock that will go on the right hand side of your wallet. I think you could decorate this lots of different ways. I would be really excited to see you guys, if you recreate this with other papers and stuff, I would love to see it. Now I know we are doing this class the day before Father's Day, but I also know that some of y'all may still need to make something for someone. Uh-oh. I just used up the very last of that tear and tape. So in order to add this to our card base, I want to use tear and tape because I want a really strong adhesive. So this is where you're either going to want to use tear and tape, or which is a double-sided tape, or your Stampin' Seal Plus. What I love about this is you can just tear that off, and you're going to put it on either edge and then across the bottom. But don't go too crazy across the bottom. Oh, Dale got some more tear and tape for me. Let's put just another tiny little piece down there. Just come across the bottom and get as close to the bottom as you can. You don't have to go all the way to that edge. I really think it'll do better in the fold if you don't. And that's probably even a bit much, isn't it? A bit much adhesive.
Hard to tell.
Okay, so we came up with a really cool way to do this. Oh, and if you burnish with your bone folder, which I know to do, then you can use your take your pick tool and get these backings off a lot easier. Let's do that. In case you're wondering, Oliver got a treat. He's in the kitchen, so for now he's doing good, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what we did was we put this in the wallet, got everything lined up so that the bottom is flush, and then if you just set that down and bring this piece over carefully, so you really want to make sure when you're burnishing the folds that you do a good job of lining everything up, so that just really works well to adhere this piece in and get everything straight. So now we'll remove this release paper from the other side. And we'll do the same thing again. We'll bring this cardstock over and just slowly bring that down. And now we have our wallet card, the base for it. I'm gonna go ahead and put my designer series paper on the front, and just chose to use one of those kind of pattern in the brown. It really does make it look like a billfold, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And just get your borders on all sides. Let that dry for a second. And then if you want to do stamping, you can. What did I do with it? Here it is. If you want to stamp on your insert, you can. I don't think I will for this one. Just put that right in there in that little pocket. And then I've got my piece of designer series paper that goes over here. Now the way that I cut these pieces, if I did it again, I may do it a little bit differently, but I did leave a border all the way around on here. I think it would kind of be difficult to get it completely covered, and I think, I don't know, in a billfold, I think that's kind of the way it would be, to have a little border. In our billfold or our wallet, it does. Just going to get that piece in there. And again, get my borders. Really more on the bottom and the sides. That looks straight, Dee.
Looks good.
Pretty good. And I'm going to just add this little piece with our decoration. Now this work better if I have that upside down. Love using liquid glue so I can position everything.
That time you glued it all down on it instead of making it a pocket, huh?
Oh, yeah, I did, didn't I? I sure did. Did you catch that? Did you see what I did? Last time, I just put my glue on the corners, on the edges, and this time I glued that whole piece down. So if I want to put my gift card in, it's going to have to be in here, which works just fine. That works, but I accidentally glued that whole piece down. Now this is cool too. If you don't have that tear and tape, you could actually put money inside there. That would be awesome. Kind of like it better with this pocket, but yeah, that was just a mistake. Okay, so that is our wallet fold card, and I hope y'all love that as much as I do. I think that's just really, really cute. You could do that with all kinds of different papers. Okay, next up is our 3D project. And Dale will pass that down to me, and then we are going to switch places because he's going to help you with scoring. Now, one of the things that I do have on the supply list is to also have a piece of white cardstock, 8.5 by 11. And the reason for that, I just want the project.
Okay.
The reason for that is if you would like to make a template. So here's what I suggest. In your packet, you received a piece of cardstock that's already prepared for you. I would use that as my template and go ahead and score along with us and create the project. No, because that's a colored piece. Yeah, use that one as for your project, and then score your white piece. And you know, of course, with this being a video, you can go back and take a look at that several times. So that would be helpful to get your template made. I love making templates of 3D projects and even some of the fun fold cards, and then keeping that in a file. That way, if you get stuck for something that you want to do, you're able to pull that out and you've got all the measurements and everything there. Now, this is a really cute little treat box, and it's a great size. The designer series paper on the front and the back is 3 inches by 4 inches, so that'll give you an idea of what size this is, all finished. And what I love is that you just pull this little tab out, and then you're able to fill your box with treats. And this one I made for Father's Day, but you could make this for any different occasion. So let me move, and
No,
Dale
before
is...
you move.
Oh, before I move?
Yeah.
Okay. What are we doing first, Dee?
Make that 10.5 by 7.
Oh, okay. So we need a piece of cardstock that is 10.5 by 7. So what I'm going to do with an 8.5 by 11 is cut 1/2 inch off of the top end to make it 10.5. Okay. And 7?
7.
Okay, so we know this is 8.5, so let's take 1.5 inches off this side. And now we have our 10.5 by 7 piece of cardstock, oops, that we need to make this project.
And then,
Okay, we're gonna switch places.
okay. From here, it says on your 7-inch side that you want to score at 2 inches and 6 inches, correct?
Okay, so the 7-inch side is at what part? Oh, okay.
The 7-inch,
Okay.
you're going to score at 2 inches and 6 inches.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab this other. That's it.
Going over it a couple times since
Yeah.
it's cardstock. Okay.
And I generally start from the outside and work in so that it doesn't, if I start on the inside and start working out, sometimes it tries to fold up and it shifts on me. So
Okay. So just keeping it in place is important for a box like this.
and then you want to turn it 90 degrees.
So you have the 10.5-inch side to the top.
Up. And now you want to score it at 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 10.
Okay.
So here we go with the 10,
7.
7, 6, 5, 2, and 1.
That's a lot of scoring, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we'll get this scoreboard out of the way.
And from here, we're gonna start trimming it up.
Well, you have to burnish first. That's super important.
Okay.
And be sure and stay up on the table.
Stay on the table.
So on all of those score lines, you're going to fold and use your bone folder to burnish. And just take the time. It's really going to help you out in the long run and be more successful with your project. Something else we're going to need that is on your supply list that I forgot to mention was a corner rounder. And if you don't have one, you're going to be able just to use your snip, so don't stress about that. So I don't know where I put mine.
Okay. Now we've got all that. And so
I'm going to show the template that we made just so they have some idea. Let's move that over. And that way they can see it on the brown. So you're going to be removing a good bit of cardstock now.
So you want the what did I do? There it is. I'm confused. So you want to
Move on to the camera.
you want to cut in from the 1/2 inch in.
Where are you starting from? What end? Gotta be really specific.
This end tab down here that has a 1/2 inch
1/2
left.
inch, okay. So starting,
Yeah, if you're starting down here, and I'm gonna cut in here, clean this edges up, and come around.
okay. So starting with that score line, it's just about a 1/2 inch. You're coming in from the end
From the
and
end.
removing those tabs on either side.
Remove the top one. Come down now, remove the bottom one. You want to try to keep this one really straight and cut right on the edge of your score line, because this is going to make the bottom of your box. And you want to do the same thing to this other side.
Just cutting up to that next score line.
And then you're going to skip this one in the middle. You're going to go to the next one. And I'm going to go.
Skipping the score line?
Yeah, the one that's in the middle right here.
Okay.
It's
Oh, because that's going to be the sides. I understand. Okay.
okay.
You're skipping a score line and then cutting up to the score line.
And then you do the same thing at the other end of this. And now what I'm going to do is, on these 3 pieces that we just cut, I'm going to cut about 1/4 of an inch off of them.
Yeah, stand.
Okay.
Here you go. So that doesn't matter if it's super straight.
No, it doesn't, because what you're just trying to relief cut this so that it doesn't get bulky.
Okay.
And I'm also gonna on these 3 pieces, I'm gonna also take a little off of the inside of these so that
Miter that.
try to miter it a little bit so that it just to try to keep from it
Having a lot of bulk.
yeah, and making it just makes it easier to go together. I don't normally work underneath a light, you know
don't?
that. No.
You have to. For videos.
I don't normally do the videos.
You're a lot better at this kind of the 3D stuff though, so I know they will appreciate your help. I appreciate your help. So will you show them that side then? Kind of move everything
And just say.
okay.
Okay.
Just kind of go over what you did, so get that debris out of the way. To that end,
All right.
you cut both corners.
Yeah, on this little 1/2-inch strip, I cut the corners, and I try to keep this bottom piece right here as straight as I can, because it's going to form the bottom of our box and where it's going to be seen. And then on these, I took a little bit off and then mitered out a little piece so that it went together all the way around.
So you cut a score line, skipped a score line.
No, cut this. Yeah, cut the
Cut?
score. Cut this score line. Skip a score line. Cut the next one. Cut the next one, and then skip to the end.
Okay, show if you don't mind. Show them on the box, so maybe that will make a little bit more sense why they're skipping
The
that one.
in the box right here, if you'll see that it's got this score line right here makes this fold piece, and so you're wanting to. The big piece is going to be the bottom, and then this piece right here, when we put it together, it's going to form this sides. And then the little piece right here on the end is what we're going to use with our tear and tape to put everything together with, and it's this. Where's it at? It's this seam right here. When it comes together, you can just barely see the seam right here. So if you get it nice and clean and straight, and it folds in, it'll.
Okay. And so this is actually the flap at the top that's going to fold in.
Well, this one's the flat.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Let me.
Okay. So
No.
we're ready to do the next side, right?
All right. And so on this side, we're gonna, from the top, we're gonna cut in this
On the first score line.
on the first score line over, and just angle it just a tiny bit, because you want it to be able to slide in without too much trouble.
But you can adjust that later too
Yes.
if you need to.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to remove this entire piece up here.
Okay.
So now that we've cut to there, okay. Now the box pieces are made.
Well, they can't see because your hand's
Oh,
there.
all right.
Okay.
So now we need our tear tape.
Okay. I think I buried it
Oh,
over here.
do I need to cut the other one?
Yeah, let's do that because we're going to put ours together. What we'll do is make this the template, and I will take a picture of it. We'll go ahead and write all the measurements on it, and so I'll take a picture of this to post for you. Okay, so we're gonna repeat everything.
Here we go again.
Here we go again. Stay on camera. You gotta move up.
All right.
So burnishing. And I don't think it'll hurt to see it again. So you probably received the early espresso cardstock, because I think we did all of those. I made that one sample because I ran out of early espresso cardstock. Made one sample with Sahara sand, but you received early espresso. So you may want to make your template first and make sure you feel comfortable with that before you cut into your early espresso.
Is it okay if I speed this one up?
No. Talk us through again.
Okay.
Not all of this, this doesn't make perfect sense to everybody. So we're starting again at the end with the
With the
half inch
with the half inch,
score line.
and we're gonna start at the top. I'm gonna cut in, and then remove the piece for the top flap. Okay. And I'm gonna go down and so I can remove the one for the bottom.
No, you're doing it differently though, aren't you?
No, this is the same.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I understand.
Now I'm gonna cut the very next score line.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep it real straight so that it makes forms the bottom.
Okay.
And then give it a little bit of relief cut in here. Whoop.
So where are you cutting the relief cut from?
I'm
The
cut
next piece?
the next piece, yeah,
Okay.
the side, and then
I don't think you cut that one, do you?
yeah, no, I skipped this
Oh,
one,
okay.
cut the next one.
So skip that score line and then cut into the next one.
Then I have another large piece with no score in it. Then I'll have a short piece with a score in it. So now we'll make our relief cuts. Before I do that, let me cut the 1/4 inch off,
Okay.
because I'm cutting a 1/4 inch off of the flaps, or the bottom sides. Cut the 1/4 inch off of the bottom back.
See, it's hard for us, some of us, to visualize that. I know some people, that'll make sense, but
And
and
then
skip
the-
one,
no, and then on the other side, cut the 1/4 inch off, because you
but
want
then
the
you skip a piece.
yeah, the last piece right here
Okay.
is the bottom. Okay.
Are you on the other side now?
I'm just kind of relief cutting each of these flaps. The one for the side, the back, bottom, and then the other side, so that I get a little bit of relief cut in them.
If they don't want to do that, will it still come together?
It'll still come together. It just, they're going to have to fuss with it a little bit more.
Okay.
And years ago, when we made cardboard boxes, we actually had a machine that you could set up, and it would cut the relief cuts out for you. So, and then we're going to take this entire piece all the way up to the very top where it's going to make, from this edge right here, you come back to this very first score line.
You're still coming from that little tab.
From the little tab.
Okay.
And you're cutting in nice and straight and clean. And then I'm going to start down it. I'm going to come from this end. I'm going to cut all the way up to where we just made our cut. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
We're ready for tear and tape.
yes. So I'm going to put my first piece on.
And how do we know where to put it?
It's going to be on this little flap that we're going to put together, and we want it pretty close to the edge.
A little 1/2 inch.
Yeah, the little 1/2 inch flap.
Okay.
And you want it pretty close to the edge,
And all the way down.
all the way down. And then what I'll do is turn it over and put it on just on the edge of the bottom. And you can see at the bottom, the ones that we kept really straight.
Okay. You want to show one more time where the tear and tape is?
No, it's on this small flap, the small 1/2 inch flap,
And then flip it over.
and then flip it over, and on the straight cuts with the long edge on the bottom. And then what you're going to do is just roll these two over. What?
Need a little bit more explanation,
Okay.
probably.
Lay that down. I'm gonna roll the side flaps in, and so that's going to form the box. And then now I need to bring it over,
Yeah, you just
and it's going to close up. And now I'm going to take off my paper. And then sorry, I gotta do the side first.
so you just line up those edges.
Get them as nice and as clean as you can get them. And then on the bottom, because you kept your sides real nice and square, then these should come together and it should make a really smooth, clean looking box. And take the bone folder and go on the inside of it. And then down on the bottom, we'll use the bone folder to press onto the inside of it and make sure that the tear tape did a good job of adhering. And then your
Oh, my corner rounder. I found it.
okay.
So that top flap, just going to take a little bit off. If they don't have a corner rounder, you could just round that with your snips, couldn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
So by having the score lines in the side, it helps that box fold up better. We actually were inspired by a box that Rach, the stamper, made. And so Dale, of course, put a little bit of a spin on it, and he put the score line so that the sides would fold in a little bit easier.
It does not always go together nice and easy the first time.
You have to kind of break the fibers of that cardstock a little bit. So after you've closed it a time or two, it really does work better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now that he's got it together, it would have probably been easier to put the designer series paper on while it was still flat, but it's going to work just fine to do that now. Let you do that, Dee.
Okay.
And we're going to do, you may have paper. There's a couple different papers that we sent because, again, with, I think, how many kits did we make? Like 22. Just the number of kits we were making didn't have quite enough paper for everybody to have the same.
I'm gonna, because the cars are running up and down, I'm gonna run them.
You gonna do that? Yes, that's fine, because the other one has cars. So one of the things as far as putting your designer series paper on, you want to make sure that you get the glue to the edges. I know we try not to use too much glue.
Oh, I'm good at using too much glue.
You'll see if you don't have your glue where it meets to the edges, it'll kind of stick up on your box, but you can always add more. So again, I think that would be easier, and we can show you on the template where you put your paper, but it would have been easier to do that while it was still flat. Now we were talking about this, and you could really use designer series paper as well, especially like we were thinking at the holidays. It would be nice when you have the thicker like specialty papers. This would make a really cute treat holder, like a little takeaway gift at a birthday party. Again, you could use whatever papers you wanted to decorate this. Kind of reminds me of like a little milk carton.
Mm-hmm. What I like about the liquid glue, you get a chance to shift it back and forth just a little bit. Okay.
And now for this one, we already had a piece stamped, and I'm thinking it needs a little something. Should we put like a piece of ribbon under it or something?
Sure.
We could.
Okay. You wanna do like a little this and make a.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe like just putting. Will that work?
Okay.
So maybe just a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus on the back of that label.
Okay.
Adding the ribbon, and then we can add it to the project. And you can certainly tie a knot. You can decorate it however you would like. You should have a little bit of ribbon left over.
Center it?
I think maybe over to the side.
What's the side over here?
Just move your hands up just a little bit. Yeah,
Here?
I like that. Whatever you think, though.
I didn't put enough to make it stick.
You didn't? We can always add a little bit of liquid glue if we need to.
Mm-hmm. And then just cut through it.
Mm-hmm.
Here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it looks cute. What I like about this, you could even put a gift card inside that treat holder with your treats if you wanted to. So if you'll bring the other one in, Dale, and show them both versions. And that, if you need still a little treat for tomorrow for Father's Day, you have time to make some of these. So we hope you enjoyed stamp class. Do you mind bringing in those other projects over there, one of each of those? And so I hope we gave you some good ideas for some masculine projects.
And I made a mess.
You did?
I got all the trash left on the board.
You just need to make more videos, don't you?
No.
All right, we hope that you enjoyed this. We've had fun spending some time with you today. Let us know if you have any questions, and just take a look at that measurement sheet that we provided. Definitely post your version of the projects over on the share thread. That will be posting soon. And we will see you again soon. Thank you. You hit the button.